John, you talked earlier about purchasing this home in Saugatuck and how much Vicki loved to visit Michigan, and you envisioned this to kind of be your forever home past work. Vicki spent decades as a special education teacher, you yourself as a frontline worker, firefighter, paramedic for several decades, and life changed and often surprises us, and it's challenging. Can you tell me how Ashley and other direct care workers were able to help you navigate that change?
I would say for us, Michigan has always been a happy place. We started coming here in the early 90s when our kids were new, our babies were born. We came here with my wife's family. Every year we'd come back and we made so many memories here. And we chose this to be our permanent place to live, looking forward to making more memories as we retired. And obviously things didn't work out that way as best they could. But even through the trials and tribulations of frontotemporal dementia, Vicki suffered for about 5 years with the disease. Never once did she exhibit any anger. She was happy through all of it, and I attribute a lot of that to the care she got from her direct care providers. Their passion, and Ashley mentioned passion, which is a great word, their passion translated to the care that they provided, which translated to her positive demeanor through this whole thing. And she was always a woman whose glass was half full as opposed to me, the negative half empty guy. So it just was a continuation of that. And I subconsciously kept waiting for her to exhibit some depression or some anger about the hand she was dealt in life, and never experienced that. And I attribute that to the care that she got from our direct care providers. I can't say that she would have been the same happy-go-lucky woman that if she was somewhere else in an institution or a home or a extended care facility.
Absolutely. And Ashley, as far as the care that you provide day in and day out, there's got to be challenges despite as much passion as you have for your profession. Tell me.
Every day there's different.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me how you cope with those challenges.
We take it as it comes. We still keep in mind our job is to provide the best care possible, to keep them safe and to keep them happy. And yes, things come up, but we just kind of make it work. We make sure that we're able to, still keep the same quality care. If there's something that we need to change to do that, we do.
John, how would you describe direct care workers to somebody who didn't know a lot about the field and the people behind it?
I would say if anyone has the unfortunate situation of going through an illness with a loved one and you're concerned about the best care you can provide, I think going, if at all possible, with home health care, look in your area, find someone who's doing it, get some references, and go and invite them into your world and see if that's the answer for you.
Earlier you compared your work as a firefighter, paramedic, to direct care workers, and the similarities, but also the differences.
It's challenging when someone you love is diagnosed with an illness that's long-term. And I think most people aren't familiar with what to do. You seek out answers from people, you go to specialists, you go to doctors. In our case, we built a relationship with Mayo Clinic, and we would go there every year and be a part of a study. And you can't do it all on your own. As much as you think you're Superman, you can do it on your own, and you can manage to get through everything every day. There's going to come a time in that journey where you're going to not be able to do it. And having someone be able to come into your world, a direct care provider who has done it before, who can answer the questions you can't answer, that can help you get through the things that Mayo Clinic can't help you with, or a specialist can't help you with, just the day-to-day chores and the daily activities that you have to go through. And someone who builds that relationship with your loved one, I can't say enough about how important that is.
I bet. And as far as like the day-to-day operations of being a direct care worker, Ashley, do you feel like there's more, I'm trying to think of the right way to word this, more takeaways than
Yes.
the things that bring you down?
Absolutely. Yes, it can be very sad, but at the end of the day, knowing the difference that we make, going in and keeping their activities of daily living consistent for them, while all this other stuff is going on, the disease and how their family is having to, change the way they do things, and for us to be able to go in there and keep it consistent every day and help keep it their routine and know that we made it the best possible, that's huge.
And being able to come in and provide even respite for John.
Yes, letting him have that breath of fresh air. It is so stressful, even as just the direct caregiver, not the family. The family member has it all, on top of the bills, not just worrying about that family member. They have everything to take care of. And so for us to come in and be like, no, you go do the things that you need to do, and she's safe. Them knowing that she's safe and being able to leave the house and not worry about what's going on at home. That in itself, I'm so honored and so blessed to be able to make such a big difference.
Allow John to be husband.
Yes, husband, yes. Come in and take over the role of being the caregiver so he can step back from that. You get married till death do you part, but what does that really look like?
Right.
And at what point in life do you realize what it really looks like? And then are you equipped with the tools to be able to make that happen? That's kind of where we come in. And even if we're just giving them tricks and, we're another resource for them.
Mm-hmm. Would you add anything to that, John?
Just as an example of the relationship that was established with Ashley and the team that was here. Ashley happened to be on vacation in Tennessee when my wife passed away in last July, and she was trying to make it back because we knew the end was near. And a couple weeks later, she showed up at the door with a box, and in the box were 3 matted pictures, the same, one for me, one for my daughter, and one for my son, of a sunset she took in Tennessee on the last day of Vicky's life. It's in the wall. It reminds me of the love that they provided my wife through the difficult times in our life. I'm forever grateful.
I love you.
I love you too.
I looked at that as showing him the celebration for when she made it to heaven and she was no longer suffering. It was so beautiful. And that's the only peace I found that day. It was such an awful day. I knew it was coming. Vicki and I were able to FaceTime. She wasn't verbalizing any longer, but we did see, and I was able to tell her I loved her and I was coming home. And I think when I left that last day that I was here, I knew there was just something in my heart. I just knew when I was leaving that, I didn't want to not go on the family trip, because then you still have to separate from your job. But that's so hard to do as a direct care worker, because they're your family, this is your life. And so when I knew she was not doing well, I tried to get back to her, and she passed on my way home. And so that sunset was the one thing I found peace with.
And I think that's just an example of the kind of love and passion you get from a home health care nurse or a direct care provider that's been a part and built a relationship with you, other than just passing through a hallway in a building, that I'm forever grateful for.
Absolutely.
It's not just another room number, another resident. This is my loved one. I will love and honor her and forever. I'm so grateful and so honored to have made such a difference in her life, and she knew I loved her and she loved us equally, for sure.
Another kind of funny example about that is one of Ashley's other clients, I hung a picture that was given to myself and my wife at our wedding, a fire department painting that's on the wall in my house. And Ashley looked, it wasn't up there before, and I put it up there and Ashley saw it and she says, I think my client has the same painting. And it turns out it's the same artist, but he's a Chicago firefighter. And he lives not too far from here, or lived not too far from here. And Ashley said, I think he's got the same painting. So it turned out he was a fireman, and she said, would you come down and talk to him one day? And so clients are meeting other patients and all connected through the care provider, and it's
same artist. Nice. How cool! How cool!
So
it's that?
You get those connections that you wouldn't get anywhere else. So.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you have a heart.
Yes.
Not just for this work, Ashley, but just deep within you, you have such a good heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that transcends into the work you do every day. Thank you.
Thank you for shining light on what we do and the importance and the need, because as you know, as you are hearing today, the difference that we are able to make, it doesn't go unnoticed, and there's no other, that's the way we can do it. Working in a facility where there's 18 to 1, you don't get that level of personal care. You don't get to build those relationships.
Absolutely.
I can see the definite relationship here, and I can only imagine the relationships with your other clients.
Yes, I have a lot of angels. I saw a post that said, if you could be met when you go into heaven by all of the people. What a great thing. Yes, a welcome home by all your angels, because that's what it is. We have so many guardian angels, so many wonderful humans that would be waiting to hug me again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, while you're taking care of them, you're the angel, and then now they're taking care of you because they're the angels.
Right.
See?
And yes.
It's all full circle.
Full circle. What an honor.
And thank you everyone for joining us for the Impart Alliance podcast this afternoon.